Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. In today's show, 7 players that balled out at the NFL Combine that fit major needs for the Las Vegas Raiders. I think we can all agree, probably the biggest need right now on offense, it's at the wide receiver position, and my man Henry Ruggs. Now, he didn't break the all-time record for a 40-yard dash, but I'll tell you what, this dude still proved that he can absolutely fly, and at 5'11", 188 pounds, I think that he is a big-time winner here at the Combine, because when you think about the top 3 receivers in the draft, Jeudy had a solid Combine, CeeDee Lamb, solid Combine, but I think Henry Ruggs actually had a better one than all those other 2 players there. Now, at the 40-yard dash, the 4.27, the vertical at 42 inches, the broad jump, and I think a lot of people, when they talk about Ruggs, he's always going to get paired to these other receivers, as he should, and I don't want you to look at numbers. I want you to look at what this guy can do, and what can he do? Stretch out a defense, because how great is 4.27 speed? Here are the fastest 40-yard dash times in NFL Combine history at the wide receiver position. Now, I will say, not the best list of names once it comes to the NFL, but you can't teach speed. And at 4.27, you add him to the outside. I mean, in college, his last year at Alabama, he averaged 18.6, okay, yards per catch. I'm not going to look at the yards and the receptions he played at Alabama. What do I want? A big play outside receiver who I can pair with Derek Carr, who I am still a big believer is going to be the Raiders quarterback in 2020. Now, the NFL draft, it's in Vegas, and I can't freaking wait. If you're going to Vegas for the draft, you hit me up at Mitchell Renz 365. But I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. Who will the Raiders draft 12th overall? I want you to throw it in the comments section. You might get hit with a YouTube ad break while it's playing. Get your comment in there. Who will the Raiders draft 12th overall? The next player on my list, it's defense, and I'm going to go with the Florida cornerback C.J. Henderson. I want you to watch Henderson play, and it's going to quickly become very clear to you that the dude's a first-round talent. And at 6'1", 204 pounds, Henderson, he's got the prototypical size that you want in an NFL cornerback. These are his stats that he had at Florida in his last year, but the dude excels in coverage. The elite speed, like we saw at the Combine, showed up on a weekly basis at Florida. I need somebody that shows up on a weekly basis on Sundays, Thursdays, Saturdays, hell, anytime the Raiders are suiting up. Now, here are his NFL Combine numbers, and for a man at 6'1", 200 pounds, to run a 4.39 40-yard dash, very impressive. 20 reps on the bench. If there is one area where C.J. Henderson can get better in his game, it's tackling. And I don't really know if it's strength to get 20 reps at 225. I might be able to get 2. I'm just saying. But I think when it comes down to Henderson, he needs a little bit better want and just better technique in trying to wrap up some wimpy runners. So if you guys love the Raiders, and if you want to be kept up to date the entire offseason, I got you covered. We're going to be pumping out videos every single day. So make sure you guys don't miss anything. If you bleed silver and black, if you know people that bleed silver and black, if you met some random guy at a bar wearing a Raiders shirt, which happens all the time, go to youtube.com/Raiders Report. Click the big red button. Let's talk about another wide receiver. Now, the first 2 players that you saw, Henderson, I think you can grab at 19. In fact, I had a mock there. Justin Jefferson is a little bit different. For me, Jefferson came into the week as a second-round pick, okay? He did. But after an incredible Combine, I think now he's going to be a first-round talent. The way that the Raiders get this 6'1", 202-pound receiver out of LSU, I actually think if nobody there at 19 that they want, then maybe you would trade back, acquire 2 more picks in either the early or late first, early second, and maybe you can grab a Justin Jefferson. Because the dude ran a 4.43. The broad jump was okay. The vertical was okay. But for a receiver that played in the slot, he's actually, I think, a perfect fit for what the Raiders are trying to do here in the future. And I mean, you want to know about numbers, all right? Yes, it helps when Joe Burrow is your quarterback. Yes, it helps when you probably had the greatest season in college football history for a team. But Justin Jefferson is a very talented player, and if you watch the college football playoffs, you'll know that. So the question that I asked you guys a little bit before is if Justin Jefferson, you need to get him, I think you got to trade back. So should the Raiders trade back from pick 19 This is more of a maybe nobody is there at 19. Could you go back, maybe land a Patrick Queen and Justin Jefferson? Go back and get a Kenneth Murray, Justin Jefferson? I'll tell you what, if I can get those two players and I got to trade back from 19, I'd actually be okay with it. So I want you to type your Y for yes or type your N for no. Let's go now to today's sponsor. It's BetDSI, the internet's #1 sportsbook. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, use our promo code Raiders120. It's going to get you 120% deposit bonus. Mitch, what does that mean? You put down $50, you're going to get $60 for free. Go to BetDSI, XFL, NBA, MLB. You can also bet who's going to win the MVP. Let's go to another wide receiver here. A lot of wide receivers, but guess what? It's a big-time need. The biggest question mark, I think, for Mark Claypool out of Notre Dame was his long speed ability, okay? Big body dude at 6'4", 238. And, he impressed. He ran a 4.42 40-yard dash. But then you also got to look at the vertical jump. At 6'4", 238, that's what you're looking for in a big-time receiver, especially a receiver in the red zone. What was one thing that Mike Mayock pounded the table on? It wasn't moving the football. It wasn't the fact that they got a lot of yards. It was converting those yards into touchdowns. And Chase Claypool is going to be able to convert some of that to some touchdowns. Now, I don't really want to compare him to this guy, but listen up. He was only the second wide receiver in the history of the NFL Combine to run a sub 4.45 40-yard dash and weigh over at 230 pounds. The other guy to do it, maybe you've heard of him, it's Calvin Johnson. Now, another wide receiver that I love here, love, it's Denzel Mims. And I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit here because in my very first mock draft that I did, I had the Raiders taking Denzel Mims in the 3rd round at pick 91. Now, I don't know if Claypool and Mims are going to be there in the 3rd round, but oh my Lord, my fingers are crossed. And tons of winners, I think you could say, at the wide receiver group, tons of winners at the Combine. Denzel Mims might have been the biggest winner at the wide receiver position in terms of draft stock because of what he did. I mean, a 4.38 40-yard dash is probably what a lot of people are going to look at. The number that is the most impressive on this list, and it's probably the scariest, it's his 3-cone drill at 6.66 seconds. For a receiver of this size to be able to do a 6.66, that is very, very, I'll say it again, very impressive. And if you watch college football at Baylor, maybe you live here in Dallas, Texas like me, and yeah, Baylor was on a lot, but he's a solid wide receiver who I think got better. Also a big reason why Matt Rule's program got a lot better because he found talented players and got the absolute best out of them. So the two guys that I just talked about here on my 2020 NFL Combine winners, Chase Claypool and Denzel Mims. If you had to pick a wide receiver in the 3rd round, okay, in the 3rd round, who would you go with? Are you going to go with Chase? I want you to type C. If you're going to go with Denzel Mims, I want you to type M. For me, I'm going to type my M. I think Denzel Mims, even though Chase Claypool is a freak athlete, Denzel Mims had a great combine, and I think he's a little bit more realistic as an NFL prospect. Now, something that I know everyone's going to love, some shirts. I got you. Go to chatsports.com/Raider shirts. I'll put it in the description. I'm going to put it in the comments as well. So if you see any shirt that you see on screen, you just click that, or you can go to the link yourself. It's chatsports.com/Raider shirts. But for a limited time only, these shirts are under $20, but there's also tons and tons more shirts. You just got to go to the link. I don't know what every single person likes. I just try to pick out the cool ones to me. Again, it's chatsports.com/Raider shirts. Now, Jeff Okudah. If there is any doubt that Jeff Okudah is not the best cornerback in this year's draft, I think he basically just was like, all right, I got you. We're going to seal that up because he's the best. He's also, I think, my favorite player at the quarterback position because of the elite skill set, but also his personality. And now, I don't know if y'all saw this, but Jon Gruden asked Okudah, what planet? Or, wait, he asked, are you from planet Earth? If you haven't seen the video, it's on my Twitter. It's at Mitchell Renz 365. But everything for him looked effortless. Like, if you want to talk about an athlete being able to jump 41 inches looking easy, go watch Jeff Okudah because it was insane. Now, I'm not going to look at the bench reps. He's a corner. But speed, size, and then what he did at Ohio State is the biggest reason why Jeff is going to be, in my opinion, at least he should be, a top 8 pick. He might even go in the top 5. And I think if the Raiders are going to end up getting a player like Jeff Okudah, you almost have to trade up to maybe 3, 4, or 5. Now, I want you guys to name a player the Raiders should trade up for. I just talked about Jeffrey Okudah. I'm going to let you know the one player that I want the Raiders to trade up for, and that's coming up right after this YouTube ad break. Isaiah Simmons. I've talked about Isaiah Simmons for 2 months. 2 months ago, I put on a video, my number 1 target for the Raiders at pick 12, Simmons. Now, he's not going to 12. If you want Isaiah Simmons, you got to trade up, in my opinion, to pick number 3. Because what this man did is just absolutely insane. You want to talk about a combination. He's like the Honey Badger, Von Miller, Derwin James, all wrapped up into one player. He is 6'4", 238 pounds, and he ran a 4.39 40-yard dash with a broad jump of 132, with a vertical jump of 39 inches. If you don't understand how incredible those numbers are, oh my, like it's mind-blowing. He's like in the 90th percentile, linebacker, safety, cornerback. Dude can do it all, and he did it all at Clemson. And he's, in my opinion, one of the best college football players that I've seen in a very, very long time. He is an extremely smart player. And when you want to just talk about versatility with Isaiah Simmons, all NFL teams and scouts in today's game are looking for versatility. And Mike Mayock was talking about the versatility that a lot of these coaches and scouts look for, and wasn't even asked about him, and brought up Isaiah Simmons' name. Like, here's his quote. Isaiah Simmons has played on the back end, and he's played at linebacker. He's come off the edge, and really the only limitations on him are whatever the defensive coordinator puts on him. You want to talk about, I think, right now, a player that could actually challenge Chase Young at 2nd overall? It's Isaiah Simmons. And this is where I'm also going to remind you that Simmons was once a 3-star recruit from Kansas who couldn't believe Clemson was interested in him. He is going to go out there and give it his all every single play. Whoever drafts Simmons, he will have a C on his chest. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. I would give up pick 12, and I would give up pick 19 to go out and draft Isaiah Simmons. Now, if you watched until the end, I appreciate you. Go hit me up on Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. I want you to DM me winners. That way I knew that you watched this video. If there's another 2020 NFL Combine winner that you want the Raiders to target, slide in the DMs. We can start talking about them. Appreciate everyone that watched this far. And again, if you're not subscribed, please do. YouTube.com/Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.